It is episode 60, and we are on the same coast.
We are on the same coast.
Doesn't get much more merry and bright than that.
No, this is very exciting.
Although you picked the worst week to come home, Kev.
Did. I'm freezing my buns off.
And there's rain. Do you remember what that's like, rain?
I do. It falls from the sky. It's unsettling. It's
wet,
cold.
yeah.
It's wet. It's not dry in texture.
You guys really haven't had a lot this year in California.
It's been wild out there with the fires, and I think every one of our podcasts
starts with it. Well, because we're
report.
concerned.
Weather
we
Channel.
do get a lot of questions. How's Kevin doing?
So
yeah.
Still here. I didn't burn down. It's good.
Kevin's just putting them out left and right out there.
Intact. Yes, I did go into the. It's not a thing to joke about. Why am I?
No, I don't know why we're doing this.
But it's okay. It's okay. Everything's good with the fires.
Yes.
And everything's good with me, and I'm happy to be home.
Welcome home.
Been home a couple of days, loving it.
Yeah.
Weather aside, loving it, and having a great time with the family, and now with my walk
we're
family.
back together, and we decided to do a little ugly holiday sweater. I promise you, no Disney.
Okay, let's start with yours. We'll start with the good, and then we'll get to the horrific. But let's start with the good, please. Yes.
Little Dunder Mifflin office action.
Freaking love this. This was
right?
a gift?
This was from Target. Like, I was in Target, I saw it, I said, I have to have this.
I love that so
Thank you.
much.
It's got like little like stationery stuff, paper clips and tacks and stuff.
It looks very comfy.
It is comfy.
It's like a very comfy one.
People can knock the ugly sweaters all they want, but some of them are really comfortable.
Yeah, but that's like the coolest ugly sweater.
Thank you.
It's the office edition, and you just
There's so much office everywhere though this year. Is it an anniversary or something, or are people just loving it even more?
People are just that upset.
Yeah.
People are going crazy because it's going off Netflix in like a year.
I think it's less than a year.
What?
I think it's sometime next year.
I thought it was like a year from January. I don't know.
Great holiday gift. Get the box set of The Office. Just saying.
You gotta do it. You
Yeah.
have that backup
And
in case you lose it and you don't get the new.
It's been pretty affordable. Oh, Peacock? Is that?
Yeah, you gotta get the Peacock app if you want to watch.
I feel like the last time you were home, we were talking about that app too.
We're always talking about Peacock. I don't know why. It always comes up in conversation.
So back to your sweater.
Let's transition. Awkwardly transition to this. I am wearing my New York Jets ugly Christmas sweater.
I love it.
And it just doesn't get more ugly than this because the team's atrocious. Just bottom of the league. I mean, not total bottom, but they're bad again this year. They're not gonna make the playoffs. But you know what?
Sorry.
They're my team and I love them.
Yeah.
But this thing it's ugly and it's slightly uncomfortable because it's like 10 years old. So I feel it choking my neck. I feel the gut is like wrapped.
It's back from your 20s.
Yeah, this sweater's like, dude, what are you doing? Like, just why are you even trying to wear me right
but
now?
I love that you brought a New York sweater home with you.
I did.
Yeah.
I did. I'm repping New York, and so I had this out here. I've worn it to Christmas parties out there, but now rocking it for the first time in New York somehow. Yeah.
Oh, that's so weird though that you have never rocked a New York sweater in New York.
Well, I mean, yeah, not this one at least.
Do you people ask you like, why are you wearing a Jets sweater in California?
Yeah, I mean, every time I wear, I'll wear a Jets hat out, like, because I just always rock my team gear. And when you wear Yankees are universal. Everyone loves the Yankees.
Yeah.
So whenever I wear that, it's like, okay, that's normal.
Yeah.
But then when I put on the Jets, they're like, what is that? Like, what are you doing? Like, why are you repping this team here? Like, it's embarrassing to wear that in New York. Why are you wearing it in LA? But I do it anyway because I love them. So yeah, anytime I rock Jets gear, I'll rock T-shirts. I'll rock. I used to rock jerseys, but now I'm 30, so I'm trying to be an adult. But yeah.
Trying to be an adult.
Trying,
We're both
succeeding.
in that boat.
But yeah, so I'm very happy.
I love it.
Happy we did the Christmas sweater.
We had to.
This is a beautiful thing.
I was very excited. I had a non-Disney one because I promised you that I wasn't going to be that person.
I know.
We're Disney, so.
I know you refrained.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
It's because I knew I had this.
That's some real Christmas willpower you're showing right
It's
there.
a Christmas miracle.
It's a Christmas miracle that you're not wearing something with Mickey or Minnie on it right now. It's just astounding. But we got a lot to talk about.
We have a lot to talk about. Yeah. We didn't get a chance to last episode talk about your episode of All Rise that aired.
That's correct. So several weeks ago, I had my episode of All Rise on CBS. Great courtroom drama. It aired, and it was a small part. And I put this up on like my social media too because I got really excited the day of. I got like really jazzed. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna promote this. I don't know how much of this I'm gonna be in, but I'm excited about it. So I put it up, and it's a good show. It's a really good show. So I post it, and then sure enough, like the episode airs, and like. It airs on the East Coast first, and I'm on the West Coast, so it obviously airs 3 hours earlier here. And, like, my family, and I put it up on Facebook, my family and a couple of other people are like, watched the whole episode, didn't see you. And I was like, oh,
Didn't see you at all.
Like, didn't see me, no. So here's the deal, is that I play a judicial, I mentioned it briefly on the previous podcast a couple weeks back, that I play a judicial assistant. The show takes place in a courtroom, and so I'm playing, a JA in the courtroom, and Yeah, I announced the case. My one line is I announced the case at the top of the scene. I say, "People versus Willie DeWitt." That's my line.
Like that? You say it just like that?
I didn't say it like that. That was stupid, actually. The way I just said it was really
It was
dumb.
so
It was
official.
like,
I was like,
"People
okay."
versus." No, I just said, "People versus Willie DeWitt." I don't know. So I just said it. Yeah, and then the case starts, and but yeah. So instead of showing my face when I deliver the line, my line made the episode. They show the courtroom. And then they just go straight to, and instead of doing any wide shots of the courtroom like they do in like every other scene where they do show all the people, they like specifically target Mark Helgenberger, who plays the judge, and they target the two, the prosecution and the defense, and they just don't show my desk at all. So in 3 different scenes of this case, they show. You see me briefly handing a document to the judge.
So you see
like the side of my head. I'm like, hey, here you go. And then the other thing you see is in the 3rd scene before they announce, before you get some, the end of the case and the conclusion of it. They show a wide shot, and it's from my perspective, in back of my perspective, so you see the back of my head. So again, much like other movies, like when I did Men in Black 3 with Will Smith, the back of my head has never looked so good. But back of my head was looking pretty sexy. It was looking pretty good. But yeah, so I do that scene, and now look, it's a lot of fun. But the thing with these small roles is, you can either have a case like This Is Us, where even though the part was insanely small and there was a couple lines or whatever,
you were very present.
And I was getting blown up, and that's a huge show.
Yeah.
So people are like, and that was very exciting. Or you could have a case like this where you have a small part, and due to editing and the way they go about it, it's nothing personal.
Yeah.
I know that I went in there and did all I could for the role. But the good thing is that it's a judicial assistant role, so there's a chance in the new year that I could get called back on it. And that's the fingers crossed that I get some more episodes, because the show's doing pretty well in the ratings, and it looks like they're making more episodes into next year. And with all luck, it'll go a full season, and maybe you'll see more of the JA. But yeah, it's such a crazy industry.
Luckily, it was this role that you didn't see you in instead of This Is Us. Like that was a much bigger platform. Not to knock this show, but
Right? Yeah, that would have been horrible.
Yeah. Now, do you don't have any kind of inkling going into it that your part's not gonna be like, you're not gonna be visible, or you're just gonna hear you?
I think the more projects you work on, the more experience you get on set, the more you have a feeling. Like I did finish the day, and I was like, oh, that went really well, and I felt great about it, and everyone was super. The cast was, really sweet and encouraging and nice to me. But I did get a feeling like, okay, maybe I'm not going to get featured.
Yeah.
I actually thought they weren't going to show me deliver my line, and that they were going to intercut it with the last scene. Like a lot of times on shows like that, fast-paced shows, they'll show another scene concluding, and you'll hear the top of the line of the next scene before they get to the next scene.
Yeah.
I thought that was what's going to happen to me. But that didn't happen. They just showed, they cut to our scene, and they showed a courtroom instead while I delivered my line instead of showing my face. So it's just, you never know how they're going to go about it. But I did have kind of an inkling that they might do that. But
well, they never know until they're editing either what they're going to choose.
And that's up to the editors. That's up to the director of the episode. There's a lot of different cooks in the kitchen when it comes to a big production like that, especially a network show. So you just never know how it's going to go.
So how far in advance did you film that before it aired?
I filmed that. Gosh, that aired like. What did that aired like?
That aired
3
2 weeks ago.
3 weeks ago. Yeah. And I filmed it in October, so it was a little over a month, I'd say.
Okay, so
a little over a month from filming to airing.
There's not a lot of time for editing with a TV show, but I bring this up because I remember when you did Identity Thief.
Yeah.
Theft.
Oh yeah.
Did you know ahead of time that role was going, that whole plot that you were a part of was going to be cut?
Yeah, so I mentioned this on previous, a while back on the podcast. But yeah, I booked 3 scenes in Identity Thief, and due to certain circumstances, they chose to cut the scenes. So we filmed that in 2012. We filmed that in the summer of 2012, and the movie came out in February or March of 2013.
Okay.
And I found out probably at the top of the new year, like early 2013, I got the call that it was getting cut. So this was something that they'd planned, and they finish production on it. They go into post. They have screenings for early cuts of the movie, but they keep making adjustments. They keep doing ADR work. People will go in the studio and you'll see the main cast. When you're watching a movie sometimes and you hear lines that sound dubbed, it's because they are.
Yeah.
It's because to accommodate a certain scene, they'll put in lines later in post.
Right.
That's what they do. So in this case, I was told that for screenings they had our scenes, and the intention was that they were going to put this in, and then things occurred and things changed, and they ultimately decided not to put the scenes in. So it was about a month and a half before it hit theaters, and then like blew up in theaters and made like 50, 60 mil or something.
Great film.
I was like very, very upset about that. But yeah, no, I was very happy about that for them, but upset that my scenes got cut, of course. And yeah, it was about a month and a half prior to that where the director, Seth Gordon, actually called me, which is
very stand up that they did that.
Because there are much bigger stars than me, and I've mentioned this to a friend recently because they asked me about Identity Thief. They were curious about that. Is that there are much bigger stars than me that get cut out of big productions, and they don't get a call.
Look
so
what
it's like,
happened with.
It happens all the time.
We were just talking about her before we filmed. The girl from 13 Reasons Why got cut from Avengers Endgame, which like the biggest film of all time. Yeah. I wonder if she knew going into it.
And she's coming off a massive show, which was a huge success. And she gets this role in this, and you're not guaranteed anything. Yeah. And it's nothing personal.
That's Hollywood.
It's Hollywood, and it's how it goes. So oftentimes you'll see big stars who are uncredited in these big productions ultimately film something and then not get in it. So yeah, that was about a month and a half before it came out that I found out. Yeah.
Wow.
That
you didn't find out when you're there for the screening or like going with your family to the movie. Could you imagine?
I know.
The whole time just be like, I'm pretty sure it was supposed to air already.
Because that happens too. Yeah. Yeah. Like with Men in Black, I went to Men in Black 3 when I did the scene with Will Smith. I went to the theater. I had the lines. And for whatever reason, I was still ultimately uncredited, where I had a couple of lines, and I stayed with my friend Kayleen from high school. We like went and saw it. I was back home in New York. We went and saw the movie, and then we stayed till the end because I was like, I'd love to see my name. That'd be really cool. Or she was like, we got to stay to see your name, and then we're like, where is it? I don't see it. So it's just there's a number of different things, but at least in that one I made the movie. So
and then look what happened with Transformers. You were in the preview, like you were on every commercial break in my house, and it was fantastic.
Yeah, it was really exciting that Michael Bay put me in one of the TV trailers for that. So it just with all of these like fun little supporting roles, it just shows how it varies because like you could have a bigger role and feel great about it, and it doesn't come through. Or you could have something like This Is Us or something like Transformers, which is essentially, both of those were less than a minute of screen time. Yeah. But still, there's such big projects that, like, people remember. And it's exciting. So
it was very exciting. I remember it, and I've talked about this before, when the preview played before Maleficent, I stood up and I'm like, that's one of my best friends. I know him.
Like, oh my God, his whole role made the trailer. That's nuts. Yeah.
That was the first time I saw it on the big screen. I was like, oh my gosh.
I know. It was wild. It was very exciting.
Yeah. And then this week, I know we can't talk about what the project is, but you just filmed something else this past week.
I did. So I filmed a really cool role on a new TV show, and yeah, I mean, I could probably talk about it, but I guess just for the purposes of, not revealing stuff.
Safe.
Yeah, it's probably a couple months out from airing, but an exciting new TV show. And again, it's another supporting role, another one-scener, but it was a lot of fun. And something that also, which I'm excited about, is I think this could have the potential to recur. I'm not
I love that.
Counting my chickens before they hatch or whatever that expression is. I don't know if that's the expression. I don't know.
Catch your chickens before they hatch?
No.
Count your chickens?
That's not it. No, let's not go into it because I feel like I butchered it, and
but now
I don't want to like break down how poor I am with saying. But yeah, count your. I think that's it. I don't know.
I gotta Google
okay, well look it up.
I don't know.
Well, you look it up while I talk about this. Yeah, so I filmed the part, and it was very exciting. It was a fun day on set, and. Yeah, I know you alluded to the fact that they gave me a trailer. You were very excited about the trailer.
Well, you posted a picture, and I was like, Kevin's got a trailer, a dressing room.
I was very excited about it. I was like, I just want to post something about this, but I can't post anything about the part yet because I don't want to do that and, like, blow it or whatever if I'm not supposed to. Did you look it up?
It's both of ours are coming up. There's both don't count your chickens before they hatch and catch your chickens, but catch your chickens before they hatch. So,
oh, boy.
I'm going to go with the count.
Okay, yeah. So I'm not counting my chickens before they hatch. I don't know.
Why would we do that anyway?
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know why anyone would ever do that. That's what a stupid expression. What a dumb expression. I don't know why that's what I thought to say in that moment.
We get
I'm just on a roll.
One Kevinism every podcast.
You do.
I should start keeping track
of
them.
We gotta go back and listen. Yes. We gotta hire an intern to go back and listen to capture all the dumb crap I've said and figure out, that was the most ridiculous thing he said on this podcast on episode 60.
So anyway, trailer, dressing room.
Dressing room. Yeah, I'm tired of talking about myself. We got to move on to something else in a second. But I get a trailer and I was like, oh, this is like most times they give you like this little what they call like a honey wagon trailer, and it's like so small where it's like there's like a seat and then there's like a toilet, and it's like it's all next to each other.
Yeah.
You're just like peeing where you're sitting and stuff like that.
Cute.
I mean, it's nice. I'm making it sound like an outhouse,
like a porta potty,
it's disgusting. It's really it's fine. But it's a little thing typically for small guest cast. But
That makes sense.
But it depends on the production. For this cool new show I got to work on, they had really nice trailers, and they gave me one of them, and I'm like, bro, my part's not even that big. This is awesome.
Awesome.
So I go in there and I took a picture of that, and I was like, yeah, this is cool. So I posted about it.
It's funny you mentioned that because I've been listening to the Office podcast, The Office Ladies. So
I'm one episode and it's dope. Yeah.
It's so good.
I only listened to one though.
There was one episode they talked about how like the 5 main guys in the beginning had bigger trailers, so they would throw the party, and then it's between Jenna Fisher and Angela Kinsey. So Angela's like, well, your trailer was so much bigger than mine because I was a lesser cast. And this is just making me think of how they really didn't have trailers.
It's so funny because Jenna Fisher was top billing, and then that supporting cast. You see this within the credits. You'll see all their names listed together. And it's because they're still important, but they're just in terms of payout and salary and where they get cast, it's all different. So
I'm so glad you're listening to that podcast though, because it's so good.
They're both so sweet, and it's like if you didn't know them, you'd be like, oh, this is fake. Like they can't be this nice, but you could tell they're both genuinely that
Have you
nice.
met either of them?
No. I'm trying to think of people from The Office. I told you I met Creed Bratton because he was in.
No, I don't remember this.
He was in the Lindsay Lohan movie with me, and this is before I watched The Office. So Creed Bratton was in Labor Pains. He played an old man, I think, who I don't even remember the movie. Jesus,
my sister's gonna freak out when I tell her this.
He ran the publishing warehouse. He was he was insane.
Oh, okay, I kind of remember his character.
The publishing warehouse where we work, and and I'm the the intern who kisses butt there and all that stuff there, who plays just like a moron, and who just gives Lindsay grief the whole movie, and then Creed plays the top guy at the company or whatever.
This was before The Office, right?
No, this was. The Office had already happened. So
he
was this was filming in the summer, and he was just off from The Office, so he took this role.
So were you watching The Office at that time?
I wasn't, but everyone on set, I remember everyone was like, oh my God, Creed's amazing on the show. And the show was already had that cult following, but was just starting to blow up.
Yeah.
And this is so fitting with your shirt, with your sweater right now. The Office was just starting to blow up, so everyone was like, oh, you got to talk to Creed. He's so weird and awesome but really nice. And he was weird, like his character, but I sat with him for lunch one day. It was so amazing because
awesome.
I got to have lunch with Chris Parnell, who I loved on Saturday Night Live 10 years earlier. And then and then another day I got to have lunch with Creed, and he was like the nicest guy.
Awesome.
And all the while, I didn't know how funny he was on The Office yet because I hadn't watched an episode.
You must have kicked yourself after that.
I hadn't watched an episode, and it wasn't until after that I called my sister and I tell her about the experience on set. She's like, have you started watching The Office yet? Because she knew.
Yeah.
She was from the beginning. She loved it. And I'm like, no. And she's like, watch it. And I watched it, and I fell in love with it like everyone else does.
Oh, that's
and I was
so cool.
And then it wasn't until after the fact that I was like, holy crap, I get to work with Creed.
Yeah.
Nuts. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
The scene stealer of the show.
It might be for the best that you didn't see it ahead of time.
I'd have been nervous. I would have been nervous working with him.
Also, I would want to quote him with stuff, and then I would feel weird doing that.
I know. Oh, it was so great. But anyway, yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. I watched that movie a long time. My sister owns it on
it wasn't bad.
VHS
It wasn't
or DVD.
a bad movie. Yeah.
No, it was fun. There's a lot of big people in it.
Yeah, a lot of big names.
Yeah.
A lot of big names and
Have we talked about that on this podcast, that movie? Have we talked about Labor Pains?
Maybe a while ago. Yeah, but it had Cheryl Hines from Curb Your Enthusiasm. It had Tracy Ellis Ross, who was pretty big at the time, but who has since blown up on Blackish. Huge. She's a huge star. And, Diana Ross's daughter, which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
Really cool. And then, there were just so many...
Wasn't this the first movie or the first project you worked with Bridget Medler on, too?
Yeah. And then Bridget played Lindsay Lohan's younger sister. So I, would go eat lunch with her and her dad. And, we'd all be at lunch. And she was, super nice, not as talkative. And then... that was 2008. And then fast forward 3-4 years later. Yeah, it was 4 years later that I book Good Luck Charlie, and I go back to the set, and I always joke about this, but she didn't remember me.
She didn't?
I know she didn't, and she didn't remember me. And it's fair. Look, Bridget met a lot of people, but I did, once I filmed a couple of episodes, I told her, I was like, you don't remember me. And I gave her a little, I gave her a little grief about it, and she felt terrible. She was like, oh my God, I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
It's okay, I'm not very memorable.
Well, she's younger than us too, right? She's probably
so
young at the time.
A couple years younger, I think. Yeah, but she super sweet and super nice. But yeah, that was my first. I got to work with her on that.
That's so funny.
We never filmed any. We filmed one scene together.
Okay.
On that, but then a couple years later, I get cast in Good Luck Charlie, and she's this big Disney star at that point. She'd blown up, and Yeah. So
which we had a Kevin
ton of names.
Binge watching Good Luck Charlie marathon the other day. We watched all of your episodes.
Oh,
yeah,
that's amazing.
Like, I just wanted to like show off that you were on Disney Plus.
It was a good time. It was a good time. I missed that show.
That was great. I wish they're reviving so many of their shows. I wish they would do something kind of like that, like a Where Are They Now? Good Luck Charlie.
And if Bridget wasn't working on so many other like TV things, but she has Merry Christmas, Happy whatever that's called.
That's like called? Everyone's in. Ashley Tisdale's in it. Yeah, all the Disney Channel.
And that looks good. Yeah, Dennis Quaid's in it. Yeah. And I'm like, oh, okay, Dennis Quaid, sure, why not? So that looks cute. That looks good. But God, I wanted so bad. I would love it if that happened. Yeah.
You never know. I mean, they're doing the Proud Family now. There's apparently
bringing back so many things.
We know that Lizzie McGuire. There's talks about even Stevens, which you got to get in on that.
How are they going to get Shia to do that?
I don't think it's going to be with Shia.
It couldn't possibly be with Shia. It would have to be with Christy
Carlson Romano.
Which
she does this great thing on YouTube. I don't know if you've seen this. She does this like Christy's Throwback Kitchen thing, and every week they like cook something, but she's got like a former Disney Channel star. It's so great.
That's a great idea.
Yeah, and they've had so many people from all the different shows we grew up on it. So.
Well, you know what? I have to get on that.
Yeah, you do.
I have to be on the Even Stevens, reboot.
Yeah.
With Christy Carlson Romano. Done deal.
That would be, and if Big Bang ever reboots, that we got to get you on that. I'm not going to give up on that.
Yeah.
So you had an interesting week filming last week. I had an interesting week too. It was 2 back-to-back broadcast days. One was at the Paramount and one was at the Smith Haven Mall for our annual toy drive. But the Paramount one, I'm trying to be careful how I phrase.
Let's talk about it. Let's get into it.
So I was
therapy
session. So excited about a particular interview. And whenever I get really excited, I try to remember in the back of my head, it may not be what you want it to be, Christina. Right. But honestly, after the Backstreet Boys this year, I was like, things are great. Yeah. They were awesome. So I figured
it's hard not to have those heightened expectations after you meet idols, people you adore, and they exceed all your expectations.
Which, thank goodness, the Backstreet Boys one went amazing because that's my whole life right there.
Yeah.
It's a band that I've been a big fan of since the '90s. Is the Goo Goo Dolls? I mean, who doesn't love the Goo Goo Dolls?
Everyone loves the Goo Goo Dolls.
So I was really excited about interviewing them, and I actually wasn't feeling well, but I got myself to come in that day to do the interview. It was a big show for us. It was disappointing.
Yeah. Yeah, and
I don't know if you've watched the interview, but it was not what I expected it to be.
I saw a bit of it.
Everyone's got like different views on it. Some people think they were absolutely rude to me. Some people think they just didn't care. I just thought it was very unusual.
Right.
And like they were not really answering my questions and asking me questions, not because they were interested. I think they just didn't want to answer anything.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. It's a testament to you as an interviewer with what you do that I feel like the majority, if not all of these, go exceedingly well or very well. But you can't control the other person, person in the interview, right?
Yeah, so and it's usually over the phone ones that could be a little iffy, which I know we've talked a bunch about on the podcast. Yeah. But in person, I think I've only had like one or two others that I was like, oh, this is weird.
Right.
But this was John Resnick and Robbie from the Goo Goo Dolls. They came to the studio, and it was just so bizarre.
And I think with something like that, disappointing is the word. It's the perfect word. But you hope that it was an off night for them.
And I think it was. And also, I will say...
You hope that.
They were very nice during the meet and greet, which happened right after, and they thanked me, they complimented me, they said it was a lot of fun. So I don't think they're bad people. I just think it was a very unusual interview. Yeah. I'm still a fan of their music. Look, their music's amazing. Yeah. But here's the one thing that got me. And
you can separate
I'm trying to be careful about this, but I just feel like I have to be honest here.
Yeah.
Normally, before an interview, we get a list of things that we can and cannot talk about.
Yes.
And the first question I have been waiting since the 90s to ask John Resnick, especially with Disney Plus being a thing now, was, can we talk about your music for Treasure Planet? Like, I'm Still Here is one of my all-time favorite songs. And he's like, no, we don't talk about that. I was so defeated from the get-go.
Yeah.
It was just...
You would think that would be on the...
But here's the thing that I'm thinking of, too. I don't think people realize that Treasure Planet A is a movie, and B, that he did the music for it. So it's probably not something they ever expected to. I don't know, honestly, if there was ever an interview where they did talk about it.
Right.
So I think these years later, they were like, okay.
this is not something that they normally hear within the interview because, again, you're trying to ask, like, specific kind of, interesting questions that one might not think of. And so you do, and then you just feel like you got the door slammed shut on you.
And wouldn't you, like, handle the answer maybe a little differently? Like, oh, Disney, that seems like such a long time ago. And then they kept changing the subject for every other question. Why couldn't they be like, oh, like Disney Plus or like TV or movies or something?
Yeah,
I don't know.
It does seem like there's a more gracious kind of gentler way to go about it that I think some people just gets lost on some people. I mean, we've talked about this with a guy that I used to do the Idols with.
Yes.
I mean, I don't think any interview has gone quite like it did with him as it did with the Goo Goo Dolls. I don't know.
No, with him, I had a great interview with him.
Right.
Some other people in this building, not so much, but I had a fantastic.
When you told me about their response specifically, I did think back to certain interviews that I saw take place between him and others. And look, it happens sometimes. Yeah. It's really unfortunate though, because it's like you realize in those moments, it's like you control everything you can control, but that's completely out of your control. Mm-hmm. Their reaction, and if you ask some like outlandish, crazy question or something that was over the line, which you never do, then okay, maybe
I could understand.
Maybe you understand. Maybe you look back and you're like, all right, well, you know what.
Yeah.
Whatever, it is what it is.
Yeah.
But that's unfortunate.
It was just a very off night. And I didn't get a chance to talk to David Cook, but we did see him perform. And let me tell you, he sounds exactly the same. But my heart was kind of broken for him because he looks so defeated. He looks like he knows he's not like going to blow up. And this isn't where he thought he was going to be. I think he needs to go back to Broadway. Honestly, he was so amazing in Kinky Boots that I think... Yeah. I just like felt so bad because he is so talented. Yeah,
I think you look at it's about finding your niche because most people who've been on these shows, Idol, Voice, and whatnot, we see how difficult it is to ascend all the way to the top and to be Kelly or Carrie or
so rare
or Adam Lambert or to have that sustained success post Idol. So it's about finding where you can thrive. And, I mean, Broadway seems like a place, and not to say that David isn't incredibly talented. We've talked about David Cook.
He's amazing.
We're both huge fans of his. But finding a place where you can kind of sustain that.
Yeah.
And it seems like Broadway would be a great fit for that. God, this is the most real episode
of
N and Kev. We're in person, and we're just like, I almost got entirely cut out of my show. I just had a weird interview. Oh, no, David Cook looks sad.
A lot of people have responded about how I was doing after that, or had like comments, or like reached out to me personally. So I just wanted to kind of touch base, and that will be the end of it.
No, but I think it's great to talk about. Too,
that's the point of our podcast, is the behind the scenes, what people don't get to like be a part of or know.
And it's how you handle that as a professional. How you can come off an interview like that and be like, man, that wasn't great. Not because of you.
Yeah.
I wish it had gone better, but it's out of your control.
Yeah.
And it's the same for me as an actor when you see your part and you're like, man. Like I felt, people responding on social media like, where were you in this episode? Exactly. And I'm like, I didn't edit the episode. If I edited the episode, I would put myself in the whole thing.
Other people are talking, there's just Kevin's face.
You would have heard the other court cases, but it would have been me like, hey, what's going on? I would have gotten all the FaceTime if it was my call. No one's allowing me to do that because, that's not how it works. But I think it's important to like have these discussions too, to talk about like, I mean, look, there's a lot of ups and there's a lot of great moments, but like in those, somewhat trying moments or those kind of weird moments, know, and it's just, I couldn't imagine doing what you do. We've talked about this, talking to these celebrities, because it is a mixed bag where you don't, know. And you could get the nicest, most gracious, amazing person, and if they're having a crap day, then what are you going to do?
Yeah, it's true.
That does happen, too. You would hope that was the case, but who knows?
And I hadn't had one of those in a while, so I think it, like, reminded me, like, there's going to be those off ones. Like, remember that. Because this year, honestly, up until now, it's been amazing. From the Backstreet Boys, Matt Nathanson was amazing, Rob Thomas. Like, I mean, there's a whole list of them.
God, I love Rob Thomas.
Oh, it was, and I'm an even bigger fan after that interview.
Yeah,
But this was a little disheartening because I used to have pictures of John Resnick in my room when I was way too young to have pictures of John Resnick in my room. He was like in between the Backstreet Boys.
You ripped them off the wall when you got home. Oh, you used to. Okay.
Yeah. So it was used to being the key word.
Okay, yeah.
The Backstreet Boys are still up there.
They're still represented.
With the Jonas Brothers.
All the childhood Backstreet Boys posters are still exactly where they were. Yes.
No, they're in different locations. Actually, some of them are in those.
They're framed.
There's some of them are framed, but some of them are in clear, like those binder things to protect them.
Oh my God!
Crazy.
Well, hey, it is what it is.
You never know. One day I could get them to sign it.
You can.
You never know.
I think next time you can get them to sign it.
Why is J2 shaking her head at me? You were there when I met them. This should not be brand new information.
I know.
I cried after the fact. After the fact, not to their faces.
Jamie's too cool for this conversation.
She didn't know all their names. It was a thing. We're still not over this. It's been like
you
a
didn't
year.
know all the Backstreet Boys names? Come on.
She also got lost in Magic Kingdom this year, so she's having quite a year.
All right. Well, that I can't judge. That happens.
I wasn't with Christina. Can you blame me?
Sometimes, you let go of her hand and, anything can happen.
I know, my child went off without me and
I don't know what happened.
Lost her.
Yeah.
That's for you.
Blame me, sure. She got for me.
Yeah.
But anyway, while you're home, we might go see a movie, right?
We're thinking about it.
Knives Out with Chris Evans.
Knives Out, yes.
Oh my God, can I tell you a quick story before we get to our questions?
I would love to hear one, yeah.
We're getting personal on this episode, and I never talk about my boyfriend, and I don't.
You have a boyfriend? I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
So he's not a jealous guy, but the one thing that he will not be okay over is if I ever met Chris Evans.
Oh, okay.
And he was calm, cool, and collected for Tom Hiddleston and Paul Rudd. He was nervous, but he was fine.
Yeah.
So I have a potential possibility of meeting Chris Evans in March.
Ooh.
And I got the email while I was sitting next to him. It's Tom Hiddleston and Chris Evans, and Tom Hiddleston's management invited me.
Holy cow.
How do I'm like, I can't even tell him.
You said March?
March.
That's how I'm looking at it. You got 3 months to put this dude at ease.
I mean, you've seen my desk. I got Chris Evans plastered on my desk. I love me some Chris Evans.
I'm telling you got to meet him. And you got to tell your boyfriend. Look,
but it's just so funny because he's so nervous.
He's nervous about it. Wow.
I mean, it's Chris Evans, guys.
You know what? I'm starting to think this guy kind of likes you, your boyfriend. Yeah. Look, this you have a couple of months to put his mind at ease. I don't know how you do that. We'll talk about it.
I don't know.
We'll figure it
but
out.
I just had to share that because it's just so funny, and I get such joy out of teasing him about it.
You're like, oh no, he should be nervous. I love Chris Evans.
He loves Chris Evans too. So I think if the tables were turned,
Evans.
I'd be like, I'm a little nervous here.
Yeah.
But
I mean, if I had a girlfriend, I'd leave her for Chris Evans.
It's Chris Evans.
Yeah, he's a really cool guy. Yeah.
But he's in Knives Out, so I'm looking forward to that. I'm hearing amazing things about the movie.
Yeah, this is supposedly supposed to be. I mean, it's just a huge cast.
Yeah.
I mean, a huge cast of top stars in the game: Toni Collette and Daniel Craig, and all these amazing actors. Don Johnson. I don't know. I like Don Johnson.
I'm like, who does this name that you're getting excited
Miami
about?
Vice in the 80s. I'm sorry. Come on, he's great. He's great. I don't know. Old people who are like Kay and Kev will know what I'm talking about. Yeah. But anyway, Don Johnson.
But I feel like all the big movies in the box office right now are just A-lister after A-lister. Jumanji: The Next Level, Frozen 2.
I'm never getting
Knives
back
Out.
in a movie.
Stop
just keep
it!
picking A-listers. Jeez, they're never gonna cast me. All right, yeah, no, you're right. But there are a lot of big talent, and then you got Star Wars coming out, so it's
that's the sweet. Are you seeing it?
It's crazy. I'm gonna go see it. Yeah, my family and I Saturday night.
Okay, I'm going Friday, so maybe on the next episode we'll.
Don't you dare!
We're not going to do spoilers. I will not.
With any spoilers.
Have I ever done that? No.
That would be such a jerk move. It's like, oh, by the way.
You remember I told you The Force Awakens was ruined for me, so I would never do that to someone else.
People stink.
They really do. All right.
Spoilers. Okay.
Question. So we were talking a little earlier about Disney Plus and all these reboots. If they were to reboot anything that's on Disney Plus, whether it's a movie or a TV show, whatever, what would you want to be in?
Can it be a reboot of the reboot? Okay, wait,
yeah.
No. Wait. What would I want to be
nothing that's currently on, but something that maybe they could work on.
But it would have to be a Disney Plus show.
Or just a Disney show in general that they would reboot.
Maybe it would be a voice on something.
Ooh.
Because I'm still trying to get into that voice acting game. Wow, this is a really good question. I don't have an answer to this. I would say Even Stevens, but we just covered that.
I mean, you could pick Even
That'll
Stevens.
be my placeholder.
Okay.
Let me keep thinking about this as I ask you my question. Okay, my question to you: I want you to name an obscure Christmas or holiday song that you love that maybe not everyone knows. Not one of the top, not Mariah.
Okay, which is number one after 25 years in the Billboard charts.
Not George Michael, not one of the,
not
one of the top ones.
Okay,
I want you to name a more obscure one that you love.
I got one. I might get judged for this, But
Oh, I hate that.
I have
Oh,
a
you didn't say
memory
that.
like driving around in the car with my grandparents and my uncle and my parents, like looking at Christmas lights and just singing "Grandma Got Run Over by a Reindeer" at the top of our lungs. I love that song.
Wow.
I absolutely love that. I mean, it's very twisted.
Yeah.
Why I love it.
Yeah. Who doesn't love a song
It's
about
just so great. That and Dominic the Donkey. I don't know what it is about them.
just something about
Jiggity jig.
something about dead grandmas, you know? It's just a great.
Evan,
Sorry.
what a morbid episode
I'm
number
sorry,
60.
okay? For 60, we get real, okay? This is life. It can't all be fluff here at K
No,
and Kev.
it can't.
All right, we got to tell you, this is life, okay?
It's because I'm not wearing Disney. That's what it is.
No, you're wearing The Office, and suddenly you're a rebel,
I'm
you know?
Creed. I'm channeling like
You're
Creed
channeling-
and Lil Dwight. I do want to point out before we go. Last week we talked about how people were like, "You're missing a couple of episodes. Where are they?" And I said, "We filmed them."
Yes.
Well, guess what? If you've only watched these here on YouTube and the filmed ones, we do a podcast when Kevin is on the West Coast.
do
So
it
you
that
could
way.
check those all out. They're up on my page at walkradio.com. They're on our SoundCloud.
Yes, they are.
We want you to be here for all the good times, the bad times, the in-between times here on K and Kev.
All the trying times.
All the trying times.
Yes.
And I think for episode 61, Kev, I kind of want to recap the year and like do more than just our end questions.
Okay.
So I'll give you a little heads up on some of them.
Please, yeah.
Some of them being the
We'll
keyword.
discuss it over lunch.
Sounds good. We're going to lunch now.
We are. I'm very hungry. Yeah.
So if we don't get a chance to talk to you guys before Christmas, Merry Christmas. Thank you so much
Happy
for
holidays, guys.
giving us the gift every week of hanging out with us. And we will talk to you soon. Merry Christmas.
Bye, guys.